Hello, hello. Welcome to the Plus One podcast with me, Just Mixie. Tonight is going to be a very, very, very special podcast. I'm in a series that I think needs to be something that we include on this journey. I'm going to be calling it Conversations with Black Men. And as you guys know, there's only one take here, so we're having a little bit of technical difficulties getting all of our guests in, but I have so much gratitude to these two kings for taking the time to participate, being willing to share their thoughts and their views, and it means so much. I just have to say this as a Black woman, as a woman. When Black men show up for us, it validates, it heals us, it empowers us, and it really makes us feel loved and protected. So I appreciate you. And we may have our another guest coming in, so we're trying to work that through now, but we're going to get into it. So my first guest is Terance. I'm going to let him tell you guys a little bit about his social medias. I want you guys to make sure you're following and engaging. You will love his messages, his daily fitness tips, and the whole vibe. And, go ahead and drop that resume for us, King.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Terance. I go by Blue. My close friends call me King with a Y. I don't know how that came about because sometimes in life I have not been quite kingly, but I think that into my life and into existence for everything that means. I can be found on TikTok at King KYNG.TG, or you can find me on Instagram I'm trying to remember. I just changed my name. Blue, BLEU_VEE. Um, I have went to school. I'm certified as an advanced master herbalist. Um, Over the years, healthcare has piqued my interest, especially for people in my community, the Black community. I realized a lot of us didn't have healthcare. It was hard for us to do things or get help as far as actually getting healing, opposed to medications and putting band-aids on things. And over time, it's built into fitness and then spiritual health, which led me into mental health. I realized that it's a lot of things in this world that are completely out of shape, that are completely out of order. And all of it normally tends to stem around the healing process or what a person needs to heal in their life. And I tend to look at things from a very biblical perspective. God is doing a work in me. It's a lot of things that I'm changing in my life. It's a lot of things that I'm putting away, but that's also part of my healing process. I am in the process of starting a YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube under Terance Glass. And that's just of a brief synopsis on me.
I appreciate you being here, and my second guest is here. We're so glad. I want to give you a moment of gratitude as well because you guys are just too amazing. When I say the word king, you are the epitomes of that. For myself, you have been a mental support, a spiritual support, and just a breath of fresh air as human beings. So my second guest is artist, author, actor, and entrepreneur Shies Debiocci. And I got to work it through. I got to work through the pronunciation with these braces on. But I am so happy to have you here, and I want you to give us a brief introduction. Let us know about your projects. You have so many amazing things going on as well. And go ahead and drop that resume on us, on the audience, real quick. Hello.
Can y'all hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now. Oh, we can't hear you now.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, and I'll edit that part
I
off.
can.
So everybody can hear me now?
Yes, we can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Okay. I apologize about that. I was on different devices. My name is Debiocci. I am an author, two-time award-winning author. I am a national recording artist. Um, I'm an actor. I've been in several movies, Netflix, HBO, Audience TV. I'm a motivational speaker. I speak in prisons and schools and different things like that. I have a second book that's coming out this month called How to Keep a Black Man. That's coming out this month before Christmas. So I do a little bit of everything. I'm a certified personal trainer. I just do a little bit of everything. I'm like an octopus. I just got my arms and so many different things, and my fetish is to learn. So um, I answer all questions. So if anybody got any questions or anything out there in the world, just contact me, and I'm ready. Let's go.
So, you guys, without further ado, we're just going to get into it. You know how the energy here is organic. And so you're going to hear things that you support. There are going to be things that you may not agree with, but it's going to be a learning, a healing, and a teaching journey. And these are conversations that we need to have in the community. And I will ask things that we need to hear as Black women, mothers, sisters, um, and companions from our men. So, without further ado, let's get into the conversation. So, one of the things I want to hear from you guys is, what is it like being a Black man in America for you?
Anybody want to? For me, being a black man in America, it just means it's hard. It's hard being a black man in America. 'Cause, I mean, every time we walk out of the door, we have several different things that we have to face in life. There's so many dangers of being a black man. When you walk out, you got the chance of being stopped by the police, not knowing if you're gonna make it out of that situation alive just for a tail light. You have the drama at work with your bosses and people just picking with you. You got people that's envious of you. You got friends that's not really friends that want to see you down. They wish for you to be up and they want to see you down. You have the jealous hater type people that just don't want you around because everybody like you, everybody growing to you, and they just want to be you, but they can't. So it's just like so many different dangers. People want what you have. People want your girlfriend. People want your money. People want what you possess. So it's just so many things that we have to face waking up. I mean, walking out that door to the fact that it's a chance we may not make it back home. It's just hard
Mm-hmm.
knowing if we're gonna make it back home or not. So every day, um, there's black man dying, there's black man getting murdered, there's black men going through different things that's getting murdered by their own people, by people that's not their own people. So it's just hard being a black man. It's scary being a black man. We have to be careful and we have to, you know, show our black man the importance of them while they're here because I mean we're at risk every day we walk out.
So true.
I I definitely agree with that. Same here. I also find it hard to be a black man and walk out your house when you are, for me, seeking and you on your spiritual journey and you're trying to do things the way the Most High has asked us to, and you go out in this world every day, as Shai, explained, everything he said, I agree with. But then you got to come home and or you're around your family, and you still got to deal with the same oppression, depression, and suppression from the very people that you going out in this world to try to help every day. It's difficult when you are growing into your manhood and you are starting to mature and put away, things that don't matter in life, to put away the childish stuff and get down to what really creates a mind frame that creates generational wealth. And I'm not talking about from a financial standpoint, but from an overall healing standpoint. So something your great 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 grandchildren can sit back and have of substance to say we come from a lineage of something that was once broken. And it's hard to face those realities as well in your home, because when you leave the house you have the mind frame of I got to get it, I got to make it happen, I got to fight through it. But then when you go home, you're still dealing with the same things that were outside in the world in your home. And it's hard to combat the two, especially when you don't have a lot of examples of what it is to really be a man of integrity, a man of stature, a man that is willing to still be able to be conversational, relational, loving, caring, be willing to give his shirt off his back, but at the same time possess what it is to be that man that is supposed to be a protector and a giver and a protector. So it's difficult on all aspects when you look at this world that we're in. Because as Minx and I, as we explained before, your crown is when you get onto the other side. You might not get it while you're here, but at the same time, it's still hold your head up. It's hard to do that, to prepare for that crown while you on this earth, because it's difficult no matter where you go.
And that's one of, just to bite off what he said, jump off what he said. That was one of the things that, of dealing with a black man walking out, and I was gonna get to that, and he nailed it. Walk coming in from all of that. We don't want to have to come home and deal with that with our girlfriends or our wives or stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? When we come home, we want peace, because it was so hard. It's hard today. We got stopped. We done argued with our boss. We just hearing all these different things that's going on. When we come home, we want to escape reality temporarily. We want to escape all that stuff that we're going through. And if we come home and it's still, like he said, the same type of environment, or we going through more drama, or you waiting on us when we walk through the door, it's like we can't escape. And so now we get to those situations to where we want to just leave and duck off and don't contact nobody, let nobody contact us. And then everybody want to look at us like we something wrong with us, or we just being weird. And we're not being weird. We just go through so much, and nobody wants to really put a spotlight on what a black man has to really go through in America. What we have to really truly go through, because at the end of the day, nobody may not agree. Some may agree. We got so much of an importance, just as much as a woman. We're a sacrifice to the earth, to the women and kids. We're sacrifices. And when I say this, to say this is why it's so hard for us, because if somebody starts shooting, the best thing, the first thing we gonna do, or you're gonna expect us to do, cover y'all up, grab y'all and cover y'all. If we in the house and 3 people break in the house, she's gonna say, baby, somebody's in the house. She's gonna expect you to go out there. You may not survive. You're gonna put yourself at risk for that child. You're gonna jump in front of that bus or that train for that child. We're gonna sacrifice ourselves to make sure you get out of that home, to get out safely, while we sacrifice ourselves. So it's so much harder that people don't realize what we actually go through and what we have to do. Like we sacrifice ourselves to make sure y'all stay on earth, that women and kids stay on earth. We don't have nobody really sacrificing for us, or doing these things for us, or wanting to do these things. Nobody even want to care about the feelings that we're going through. And that's why a lot of men wear emotions on their sleeves, because nobody really wants to hear. Because soon as you start to be like, man, I'm going through this, like, man, stop crying, man up. You whining like a little girl or a kid. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So y'all wonder why we don't be like, hey, this is what we going through. Y'all say, baby, talk to me. You could talk to me. I don't know why you don't talk to me. It's because when I do, I sound like a punk. Or when I do, if I fall and hit my knee, and I be like, oh man, that hurt it. You be like, walk it off. Why are you crying? Like y'all act like we pain proof. Like we don't supposed to feel pain. We supposed to be pain proof, feeling proof. We supposed to be proof of everything. Like we're not even human. We're like superheroes, and we're not. We're human beings as well. You know what I'm saying? We want to cry sometimes, but if we cry, you look at us like we soft or we punk. We can't do that. So that's why we can't never soften up as much when y'all want us to soften up for y'all. You see what I'm saying? So
and ladies, just to listen, there are conversations, and this is not it. It's not a dispute. So if you guys are wondering why I'm listening, and you're used to me being the motor mouth, we have to be willing to ask our men what they need, and then we have to be humble to shut up and listen to them tell us. Now, maybe a different show, it'll be a debate. Today is not a debate, and we will have our show. I want you guys to hear these things, be able to listen to them without disputing or interjecting or making it about us. It'll be about us, but not tonight. Okay. So, not tonight. Not tonight. And I'm not talking only about romantic relationships. This is why I asked my ex to be on this show. And because I really, it's a conversation I need to hear as well. Um, but I'm a nurturer, so that don't apply to me. You can cry over here. So what I'm hearing is, and that kind of segues into my next topic, which is mental health among Black men. And I know we're going to spend some time on this one. I already know that, and
I'm here
just
for it.
but I want to delve into mental health among Black men. We're not. It's yes, there will be a discussion about mental health in the Black community, Black women. But tonight, this is about Black men. This is a conversations with Black men. So let's get into the mental health. You guys kind of touched on that a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the stigma of mental health for Black men in the Black community and in general. And I'm not talking only about clinical diagnoses of like schizophrenia and things like that. A lot of us suffer from trauma. Trauma is rampant amongst the Black community. I'm sure it's other communities as well, but we're talking about Black men in the Black community. Not being able to express your emotions and not knowing how to manage anger, things like that. Let's get into that discussion, because you did touch a little bit, Shy, about, I'm going to call you Big Shy. Big Shy is about feeling like in your relationships you weren't able to even be perceived as what is considered emotional.
Right.
You weren't able to express yourself. How does that play on the male psyche? Like, how do I put this? What would you need from your partner, since you address not being able to express that in your relationship? Tell us what you need
Um.
for your mental health.
So, it's so much harder to really tell what we need, because we've been going through it. So I'm 35 years old. I just turned 35 last month. So
Wow,
Happy
baby
belated
face.
birthday, bro.
yeah, I turned 35 on Thanksgiving. I was actually born on Thanksgiving
Oh,
also. So
wow, are you kidding me?
yeah,
Oh my God, I literally thought you were in your 20s.
yeah, yeah. I work out a lot. So what it is by me say I'm 35 years old. It's so hard to really tell what we want, because we've been raised this way. It started off with our parents, and it started off with, just the people in the neighborhood. It started off young. You see what I'm saying? So um we're so used to really not our feelings not really being cared about. Is so used to, like, I never knew how it felt to have a sense of importance, because there were so many like women in my family, and I was like the only guy. And I just knew, for me, it wasn't good for me to be sitting out in the mall holding my mother's purse while they in there getting their nails and stuff done. I know that wasn't well for me. None of that was well. So my sense of, and everything, my sisters and them was able to do everything that they wanted. So I just didn't feel a sense of importance growing up, to where now the weird it be weird things that makes me feel important. It be weird things that makes me feel like I count. you know um and it's kind of hard. Like I said, it's kind of hard to just tell what it is that we need. We first of all, like you said, we need people just to listen. Sometimes you gotta listen. Sometimes you just gotta get your pillow, sit there, and just listen to everything that we saying. And don't just listen, you have to really feel it. You have to understand where we coming from, because there's a difference between feeling what we saying and understanding and listening when we saying. It's a difference between understanding and listening. You could just be listening and not keep it in, and it just goes in one ear, not the other.
That is one of my one of the most I, I call it listening. Some people listen to disagree, listen to fix you, listen to tell you their advice you never asked for. And for me, when people do that to me and it's intimate relationships, I stop listening to you because I know you don't care by your actions, not your words. So it's really, I love that you emphasize that women listen, families listen. This is not a discussion only about relationships as they pertain romantically. These are how we as mothers, as fathers, sisters, sons, daughters, cousins can better communicate and understand Black men. So listen to understand, not to debate, not to fix, not to give your 2 cents that nobody asked for. The power of just listening for all of us. It's not just for our men, just for human beings in general.
Right. I agree. For me, I agree with a lot about what Shai said. It is that not feeling important or validated. A lot of times we tell women, don't look for no man to validate you. Don't look, the validation is supposed to start at home. The father is supposed to validate the daughter's mental. He's supposed to show her how a man is supposed to treat her. But at the same time, in the Black community, men aren't given the same value to say, I have to protect his mental and his emotional state. So when he leaves his home, he's able to communicate effectively and actually communicate in the stature of a man. It's very difficult. Like I can only speak from my experience. I dealt with a lot of trauma when I was younger. I was molested. I had to go through my parents' divorce. I had to deal with, unfortunately, going through moments where my mom was struggling to make sure rent was paid. I had to deal with an array of things within my home that really set the tone for how I would walk out of my parents' house into adulthood. And those traumas were never really appropriately or adequately dealt with. So when you don't know how to express yourself, or when you express yourself but you're not being heard, you're constantly carrying around that trauma because you're finding people who aren't trying to help you unpack that to even help you learn how to deal with a situation appropriately. I can say, like, for me, how can I put this? For me, it has been the thing of feeling like I am good enough. Like, over the years, I watched my father, great guy, no disrespect to him. So, Daddy, hey, you out there, you hear this? Amen. It ain't nothing personal. We've had these discussions. Sure. But I watched him cater to my sister. Oh, well, she's a girl. She needs this. She's a girl. She needs that. Hey, don't cry. Man up. Toughen up. Put bass in your voice. And over the years, it wasn't until I was 20 when I really realized you're just a soft-spoken person. If God wanted more bass in your voice, then that's where he would have put it. But he didn't want that. He gave you what he gave you. Like, and you don't get the ability to just be who you are outright, because the mental, as Shai said earlier, what your parents was taught by your grandparents, who was taught by their grandparents. They're not thinking outside the box of looking at you as an individual who might be a little different or outside of the box than what their mind frame or focus or what they have been taught is as a man. And it makes it even harder in relationships when you find, someone that you want to be intimate with and go into a relationship with, and you come home and you like, baby, I done had a bad day today. I had cussed the boss out. Me and sister got into it. Mama out of order. Daddy in the hospital. Don't know what's going on. And it's, well, I mean, you the man. Am I getting my nails done? Where my money? And it's like, wait a minute. I'm sitting here telling you, I am mentally, physically, and emotionally, and spiritually tapped out. And I'm at a place to where I'm about to blow. And I don't want to cuss you out. I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I need somebody to just let me unpack before they ask me for anything, or they put this unrealistic expectation of what I'm supposed to look like and always be as far as my emotions and my stature and my mental. It's pressure. And when you go through trauma and that's never dealt with, you still have to be a man out here in this world and figure it out.
And I will say this as a woman who is a nurturer, that does allow men to unpack without judgment and be who they are without judgment. I want us to really, really, people listening, I want you, as if you're a parent, if you're a survivor, I don't use the word victim. If you're a parent, if you're a survivor, if you're a traumatizer, I want you to really, 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 really understand what Terance is saying, the effects of traumatizing someone on their adult development, altering who they might have been as a man through that, and then not allowing them to heal, and not allowing them to express themselves, be who they are, even having been shaped by surviving traumatizing experiences and things like that. A lot of our men are traumatized. A lot of our men are traumatized, and they are survivors. You know how many African American men, and I'm so glad that you touched on the abuse in our community. 1 in 4 boys are survivors of childhood sexual abuse. 1 in 3 girls. So you take 4 people in there. 1 of those 4 boys, one of 4, any 3 girls, 1 of 3. And so that is a dominant thing in our community. And I'm so glad that you were comfortable enough to share that with our listeners. But there's so much trauma. There are so many men, like I cannot even tell you. I don't think I've ever been in a relationship with someone who hasn't had more than 100 partners. I've never, they're athletes, good looking guys, just hood guys. But a common theme was them having sexual experiences pre-puberty. They would say things like, I lost my virginity when I was 8. You can't lose your virginity at 8. That is child molesting. And so, and then it shapes their ability to form healthy relationships, trusting relationships where they're not trying to prove their masculinity. I will share this with you. I probably wouldn't share somebody else's story except the fact it's my ex-husband. And he said to me, only to me, and you know what? Because he only said that to me, I may backtrack from this. So,
yeah, I was gonna say, wait.
Because listen, my loyalty is not contingent upon your loyalty, if that makes sense. My respect is not contingent upon your respect. Now, whether I continue to deal with you, yes. If it was my story to tell, it'd be told, But I will say this. Trauma is something that we don't address. Sexual trauma to Black boys is minimized, especially if it's a girl committing the act on a male child. It's like, you should be happy. No.
Which is a sad thing, not to cut you off, but I've been in conversations and crowds with people, and they 17-year-old son, their mom is mad. I didn't caught him having sex with this, and this woman is 3-4 years older than him. But if he's 17, she's a grown woman. But the men in the family are like, "Oh, that's my boy." And it's like, no, bruh. Not only do you not know how that happened, because for all we know, she could have said something or done something to him, slipped him a drink. We don't know. But then we also have to look at the spiritual implications of what happens on top of that. Because now there is a soul tie that could have been made. And anything this woman does in her life, if that's not broken, this young man is also possibly game for experiencing. But in certain communities, it's praised when a man loses his virginity. But people don't never say at a young age, well, was it welcome? Did you ask? Were you okay with it? Sometimes, child on child molestation is real. Two children who don't know what they're doing or don't know
Right.
the repercussions of it can still weigh on one or the other or both children in the long haul.
And that, and and you guys are probably saying, why did she pick that out of what he said to stop and emphasize? Because it is a necessary conversation. Because producing children that are traumatized grow up to be men who traumatize other children, grow up to be women who traumatize other children. And I can't have a discussion about Black males if we don't talk about the ways their mental health, their sexual health, if we don't talk about the importance and the lack of nurturing from Black mothers. And we're gonna get into that, ladies, and y'all probably not gonna like me. Y'all probably are not gonna like me a lot, because we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into why we don't nurture our son. Like, some people be like, my son happens to be named King, but they'll be like, my son is my best friend. My son ain't my best friend. I want my son to have a life. Oh, ain't no woman gonna be good enough for my son. I have suffered because of mothers like that. You know what? I want my son to be loved, nurtured, supported. I want him to be an amazing father. I want to welcome somebody's daughter into this house and to be like, Mom, what you cook? I want him to go date and experience things at the right age. So the reason I wanted to get into the conversation is that I have grown women now telling my sons how handsome they are. Oh, you're going to get all the girls.
No, you're not.
I'm like,
I have people tell my little one that all the time. Oh, he gonna be a lady magnet. He might bring these ladies around him, but let me tell you about something about this one. What he will know is the importance of his virtue. What he will know is the fact that on none of y'all want nothing 90% of the time, because y'all are still looking and lusting after this child, waiting for him to become 18 years old so you can touch him. No, ma'am.
I don't necessarily think they're even waiting until they get 18, because I've never looked at a child and went, you're going to get all the girls. I'd be like, oh, his little shoes are cute. So we want to have this discussion, guys. Listen to what we're saying, especially if you're parents, especially if you ever want to be a parent. If you're a parent and you made these mistakes, you can listen. This is a discussion I want to have in depth about how important accountability is for the effect that you've had on Black male children and Black men. It's okay to take accountability. So I wanted to emphasize that a little bit more, only because that is a conversation that needs to be had. 1 in 4 Black boys are victims, survivors. I don't like these word victim of childhood sexual abuse. And so this is some of the reasons that you having problem like that. We as women encounter men that have problems forming intimacy, problems being touched while they sleep, problems having normal, intimate relationships, spiritual connections, and issues with anger and self-loathing. So I don't, I did want to just I didn't want to brush over that. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of everybody who has survived any type of trauma. I'm a survivor myself. You might say, well, survivor what? Probably everything that you can think of. All of it.
All of
That
it.
too.
And just to touch on that, which is, just to go a little bit more in depth of what I was saying, even with the trauma in the home as a child, and I don't know if Shais has experienced this or saw someone that has, a lot of women don't realize that the relationship between a man and his mother reflects on how he also will deal with you, just like with a woman with the relationship with her with her father and her. It's not okay, and I see it all the time, and especially in the Black community. I can't speak on nobody else's, where mothers will feel like it's okay to call their male child out of their name. I've experienced it before my mother went through her self-healing process, where I was called these bastards and MFs. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm your son. But people don't realize, even if you say it out of anger and you go back and apologize and explain what happens, that still hits the spirit. You just called and degraded me everything that made me less than a man in one sentence. And I have to learn how to process that, move past that, and
It's
still be able to have a open relationship with a woman where I can confide in her. Because a lot of times if a man don't have a good relationship with his mama where he can really confide and talk to her, it's going to be difficult for him to do it with a woman that ain't his mama. And that's just the bare truth. We have to start preparing our children to be in healthy, successful relationships. You have to show your son, how to be a man and respect him as a woman should respect any man, and vice versa with between a daughter and a father. There are just certain things that can't be said and done and undealt with, because when you send them out in the world, they hold on to that. And if it's not healed, every relationship, he's gonna think all women are the same.
I feel like I agree. One of the things that women got to understand, right, and a lot of them just don't understand, is that just as much as y'all want us to have patience with y'all got to have patience with us. Like
Amen.
you have to be gentle with us, just like you be gentle with that baby, because of the things we went through. Like me, people, like, they ask me why I'm single or why I'm doing this, and it's like, you know, it's hard when the women of your life that you first fell in love with broke your heart. You know, your
Amen.
mother and your sisters, the first women that you probably have fallen in love with, because that's your family. Those are your hearts. Those are your pride and soul. Those are the people that you will die for. You know what I'm saying? So when they hurt your heart, which you gotta you can just imagine what a regular woman can can do. Like, you got to have patience with us, and we done been hurt. Don't nobody want to sit and see why we act the way we act. Why you don't want to get in a relationship. Why this? Why you don't want to? You need to figure it out. Why? Ask why, and really want to sincerely know why, because there's answers to these things. I had my hearts broke. Like you said, I done been through everything. I done been through the abuse and all of that myself. You know what I'm saying? I done did so much that the average kid went through, couldn't even bear to see what I had went through when I was coming up in age. You see what I'm saying? So it's so much harder for men to convert and just be soft-hearted, because we just been through so much, and we done had our feelings break. I'm like, I don't want to feel that pain that I felt when I got my heart hurt by my mother and my sister. No, I don't want to feel that again. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna be harder for a regular female in the streets to get to my heart, because it's cocooned. And it's just like you done been through what you've been through with the guys you done been through. Now when a man come into the relationship, we already at fault for the things that you went through with the last guys. Okay,
because they didn't heal that trauma.
Yeah, you didn't heal that trauma, and you gotta have patience with me. I've been through so much. I. It ain't always I. Y'all got to stop saying I is selfish. You can't be selfish. That's a sign of selfishness, and I'm gonna get far away from that. You know, it's me, I. You know what I'm saying? So what about me? What about what I've been through? Why do I have to? Why do we have to always adjust to you? Why can't you adjust to us as well? Why can't we help each other climb for the things that we went through? You see what I'm saying?
And ladies, let me clarify. Ladies, mothers, let me clarify. They mean in a relationship. And when I use relationship, I don't mean just romantic relationship. I'm just saying any interaction you have with another human being of an intimate emotional nature. So they need in a relationship, because I don't want women to think, I don't want any women, mothers, sisters hearing this, who are lovers, givers, nurturers, thinking, oh, I just have to only cater to this person. I have to only be the one doing this because I'm always that person. They're talking about in a relationship that they're being supportive, nurturing, understanding, and not receiving that in return. Okay, it's mutual. If it's only one sided, it's toxic. If it's only one sided, it will be traumatizing. If it's only one sided, like Shai said, you will not get to the top together. So I don't want anybody listening to this to think, because I know these two gentlemen are getting to know them, and they are givers, nurturers, supporters. So we're not talking about the men that don't do nothing in return. The sons sleeping on the sofa, don't help their mama, don't do nothing. We're talking about giving and receiving, a continual circle of love and support. So I just want to clarify that, because I have some friends who will, and people that I know will listen and be like, oh, so what they're saying is, I just to be patient, even though it's been.
No, it's levels to this game. It's levels to that. And I'm going to call it out. I will call it out. I have to tell people I ain't even in the best positions. Like, I'm not, let me watch how I word this. God forgive me. I'm in a position where I'm growing, but things don't look like how I know they're going to be. Mm-hmm. But even in those moments, because we have to face the reality in the world we live in, not every man is going to come pocket ready. Thanks. Not every man going to pull up to the scene in the nice car and the fancy clothes with the jewelry and all that. He ain't always going to come with that. Some men are in the process of that, and they're actively working. But there's a difference. There's a difference between the two. But when you find a man that's like, oh, I always got to deal with his drama, you got to start to ask yourself, one, what generational curses, bonds, breakages, or as we say, bad relationship techniques that we see in the family, did they experience? Did they experience trauma? Did they experience hurt? Now, if they land on your couch, that's your problem. You allowing that to happen. Right. Because if you really love this man and you want this man and he has shown you qualities, then you have to start opposing, okay, baby, I'm here, but you got to get this mental health thing taken care of. Now, if he ain't willing to do that, or he is not willing to move past that trauma, and that lifestyle is what he wants, then at that point, if you stay, that one is on you. But there's a lot of women out here that get mad at men who ain't pocket ready. Because I'm going to tell you, if you pull up to my doorstep right now, I'm going to tell you, look, we're going to have maybe 1, 2 hot, good dates a month. We're going to spend a lot of quality time together. We're going to get to and from where we need to go with no problems. But I can't go out and buy you the Gucci bag and the Louis bag right now. And a lot of women will get turned off by a man that's not at that place yet. But you have to remember, if a man isn't at that place, especially a man of faith, you have to be wondering what God is healing him from to make him ready for that. And that's the hard part, because there's a lot of men out here that's out here trying to get to that place, but people will shun them, down them, will try to manipulate and control them just to get what they want, which in essence ruins the relationship. And parents do it to their children too. It's parents out there that got light bills in their children's name. For what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So, ladies, again, listen. I'm sure we all have some rebuttals and some explanations, but that is not this conversation. You know, some of this is difficult to hear because I want to be like, well, that's not me. I don't do that. But when you're actively listening, and the reason I keep emphasizing words like trauma, actively listening, abuse, survivor, is these are key words that I want us to take away. When I say that this is not only romantic communication, this isn't just on how to love a Black man romantically, because this is what they're telling us, how they need to be loved and supported. This is also for the aunts, the uncles, the same-sex relationships. This is also for the mothers, the fathers. Healing takes a village too. Healing from trauma takes a village too. So these conversations, the reason I keep emphasizing, they're not only just talking about how in a relationship that is romantic, they want to be treated. These are, you listening, their words like, my mother said this. We are their first loves, okay? Research, science supports that a child who is not loved and nurtured by his mother in the first 18 months, that is the one common factor among men who suffer from narcissistic personality disorder. In China, and also in China, they used to have so many orphans that the babies would not be held. They'd just be swaddled and changed maybe twice a day. And they suffer severe psychological problems as adults. So we're hearing a foundation is the mother. If your mother listen, they're telling you the mistakes that a lot of us have made. Your son is not your boyfriend. Your son is not your property. Your son has a right to be loved and supported by another woman. He is not your safety net. You know, like, oh, there are a lot of mothers, I probably done dated all of their sons that are like, well, my relationship with men didn't work. So I need you here. I don't want you to get too successful. I don't want you to leave my house. I don't want you to leave my control. I'm never going to embrace any woman that you bring in. Somebody asked me one day, they said, and I want your opinion on it. They said, what would you do if your son bought in a stripper? I said, listen, what kind of stripper we talking about? Now, is she a smart stripper? She intelligent? She know how to hustle? What are jeans looking like? You know, is the body real? Because I don't want to have no surprise on my grandbabies, you know. I said, if she come through, she's going to be treated with love and respect and mentorship. She come in a stripper. She going to leave out an entrepreneur. She don't leave. You understand what I'm saying? She gonna leave out. She gonna leave out with a testimony about how she got off that pole. She got the right mother-in-law. I said, can she cook? She keep a clean house. She gonna be treated good. She come through this door. Because listen, I don't care about that. Now she can cook. My son like to eat. He gonna make sure she got money. She ain't gonna have to dance. She gonna be like Cardi B. I ain't gotta dance now. You know.
Yeah. I think a lot of people make mistakes on judging people on what they're good at. You know, you can't judge everything. You can't judge people on what they're good at. Some people don't have the talents that you have. Some people didn't get a great education like you had. Some people didn't get those opportunities. So this little girl probably wanted to grow up to be a choreographer, or she might have wanted she might have was a cheerleader and just loved to cheerlead. She just probably was hard for her. You know what I'm saying? And I commend any person that's out there hustling and getting their money. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could be out here begging men for their money and letting men because once a man you let certain men take care of you, you puppet on the string. Because it's what I did for you, what I made you, I doing this, I pay these bills. So I can't just take up for just women. I got to say the men do that. So if a woman to say, if they like the song, what would you do if your son was at home crying on the floor in the bedroom because he's hungry and the only way to feed him is to sleep with a man for a little? Like, if she gotta go, if she gotta go strip to make sure her family is good, go strip. Whatever you got, we can't judge. God didn't put us here to be judging people on what they good at and how they make their money. She got a house for that kid. She got a great car for that kid. She got to get a great education for that kid. She getting a lot of things for that kid. Don't get mad at this man because he work at McDonald's. You got some man, like y'all say, laying on the couch. So if this man got thing on becoming a manager at McDonald's and he bringing in a check, why you judging this man? Stop judging this man on what he doing. And that's why a lot of men get plunged into the streets, because y'all, you work at McDonald's, y'all only get $7.50. That little punk ass money, that, excuse my language. Y'all be like, and then you make him feel like, man, I gotta go hustle. I'm about to go sell some dope. I gotta go rob somebody. Yeah, it's not good enough. And you trying to compete on which you like her, but she's down in you, and you trying to compete on the dudes that's trying to holler at her. So now you find yourself in the street doing illegal things when you was doing the legal thing. The best man to be with is the man that's doing the legal thing, because he's gonna be there. When you go to that you want that though, you want all that money, huh? You want that Birkin bag, that same Gucci bag you was talking about, but you ain't gonna be ready when them Jack boys kick that door open. You ain't gonna be ready when the police kick that door open. You ain't gonna be ready when the police take in the jail and take you into interrogation. You ain't gonna be ready when they looking at you as conspiracy because you knew, and you wearing all the clothes and you got all the money and you driving that car that was bought with that dope money and that drug money. You ain't gonna be ready for all that when he got to go to jail and do 30 years. Now you so caught up on what you was getting. That's what you got to go do. You got to go get a whole another dope boy to take care of you, because that's the life you was living and that's the life you accustomed to. So now you got to do that all over again with that man right there that got a 9 to 5. He ain't never going nowhere. All you got to worry about with him is the police messing with him. That's it. He ain't going nowhere. He gonna be there. That man that you, oh girl, he just got me the Gucci bag, girl. I got the red bottoms, yeah. But he about to go through 30 years in the feds. When you go through 30 in the feds, you got to do 27. So now you looking at that. So you got to be careful on what you put upon black men. You got to be careful with that, because we trying to compete with people in the street. We can't get drug money, but I can guarantee you my loyalty. I can guarantee you a check every week. Now this dude with this drug money, he can't guarantee you he's gonna have that money, because the police can come take that because it's illegal. They can't come take this paycheck. This paycheck is promised every week, every 2 weeks. That's promised. This 40 to 80 hours, I'm gonna work that and bring that little check home. At least we might be struggling, but we're gonna struggle together. At least it's legal, and I'm gonna be here for you. I'm gonna be here through sickness and through health. So you got to be careful also with your eggs of a black man. Like he said, everybody ain't gonna come pockets ready. Everybody ain't gonna come with a bag of money. That's just not what it's gonna be
at all. And I agree with you 100%. Especially like you said, oh, well, all you bringing in is this little check. That's trauma. What if this man has had to go through hell and high water just to get that job because of other things that happened in his life? Now you add more trauma onto the trauma he's trying to heal while being with you, to provide for you to only put his life in a situation. Because like you said, he go to jail. He got to do 27 years. Most girls ain't that loyal. Call it what it is. Most men ain't either.
Nope.
And when you look at healthy relationships, a healthy relationship, when you find somebody that is really interested in you and they're really willing to respect your boundaries. For some people, it's we ain't having sex till marriage, but they're willing to say, okay, baby, I realize you got this issue. I realize you get mad when this happens. I understand you get sad when this happens. I'm watching you. I saw how you got mad at my child the other day for walking through here with his shoes off on your white carpet, and you popped off. What is it with that? It's something linked. Now we need to deal with this trauma. For a man, for a woman to say those things and mean it wholeheartedly and not want to throw him out, but say, I'm willing to work with this with you. We might not be marriage ready yet, because apparently we don't want to take this into our marriage to deal with to bring this into our children's lives or show them this. But when you tell a man, I hear you and I get you and I'm willing to help you receive the help that you need to heal, that man will go through hell and hot water, and he will fight. If Osama bin Laden was alive and he had to fight that man, he'll fight that man for you.
Most definitely.
You know what? Listening to you guys, I'm coming to a moment of self-awareness, because I'm literally hearing you guys say what you need through mental health, through financial struggles, through just existing and everyday things that you battle as men, as Black men. And I got a little teary-eyed, and I got a little mad too, because I'm like, I gave all that. I do. That's who I am in a relationship. And I want to be like, so that kind of segues into my next topic, because you kind of, like, when I went into the whole thing of the girl being a dancer, that kind of was a discussion on what do men look for in women, and you guys said things like support, you don't care about the exterior, things like that. So let me ask this with your partners, because I don't assume anything about anything. Relationships are relationships. So this is for our listeners who may not be heterosexual or whatever, but we're talking about now relationships. Why? And this may be a question I think that a lot of women, Black women, want to know. When you have a partner, if you have had a partner that has been that supporter, that nurturer, that lover, that cheerleader, that spiritual support. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Or again, partner. How do I put this? Why do men cheat?
Ooh, well, I thank goodness I haven't. I'm the type of person, thank God, if I'm done with you, I'm done with you. So once you get on my nerves, I'm not going to go look to replace you with somebody else that might be like you. So I think that's why I've had a lot of unsuccessful relationships, because at points in times I was not willing to stay, but that was due to my own trauma and issues. But I can say for me, openly and candidly speaking, through life, I'll say through my 20s, I entertained same-sex relationships for a short time. And even going back and saying, okay, I gotta get this together because I'm dating two different types of people, and I'm not finding peace anywhere in this situation. He don't make me happy, she don't make me happy, and I dang well ain't making me happy. So
Mhm.
for me, it was going back to, okay, let me focus on the Most High. Let me get back to Jesus Christ. Let me get back to Yah. Let me get back not necessarily to the religion, but to the moral standpoints and laws that He asked us to live by, so I could figure out what's wrong with my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And because people don't realize you can have a heart issue that won't allow you to even receive love.
Mm.
And there are so many people out there, especially men, who have had bad experiences, especially, let's just say, take it back to the basic structure, the foundation, the family, that one, they see it repeatedly. I have friends and they like, my daddy cheated, this person cheated. I'm used to seeing it. It's just something to do. Get your rocks off when you and the girl is at home, right? Some men go into relationships with expectations. I need cooking, I need cleaning, I need sex. If you take away the most important to a man, and most men who don't have a mind frame of what a healthy relationship is, you take that sex away, he gonna go find it somewhere else.
Mhm.
And then when you decide to give it up, he gonna come back and act like she didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I know for some men, they cheat because they don't know what it is to really have intimacy in their
Mm.
life. So
Mm.
because they don't know that real intimacy, not sex, because the people think sex is intimacy. That is a form of intimacy, but that deep down conversation of who are you? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? How did you become this person? What did you go through? Did you have to fight through school? Was it easy to get through college? Did you get to go to college? What makes you tick? Are you creative? Why are you creative? Like those type of intimate conversations create bonds, like I spoke of earlier. If you really there to help your man unpack his trauma and really grow with him and show you're not willing to be like the other women he's encountered, he gonna fight for you. And it's
Mm.
the same way even in the relationship of building a healthy relationship. If you're showing those things, he is less likely to go out and sleep with you, because a man knows when he finds a real woman, that ain't easy to come across.
Mm.
And real women are willing to stick. And not to say women are fake. Let me clear that up. I don't want to say women who have not gotten to that part of growth in their life to where they can say I can adequately mentally be healed within myself to be in that type of relationship. But for women who aren't ready for a relationship, they when those parameters aren't met, he's more likely to go off and find it somewhere else, because it's kind of like, I don't want to compare a relationship to a job, but if you ain't happy at your job, then you find another one, and when you get the offer letter, you say deuces. And some
Mm-hmm.
women don't understand that if you can't give a man what he wants, and it's not even about sex, because some men ain't about sex, it's just if you can't give me what I need and fulfilling, like I can build this relationship, this family with you. I can have grandchildren with you and we can take vacations. He's less likely to stay if he's motivated in that mind. So he'll do immature things out of his own inability, or out of his own um, unresolved issues with his own trauma. And he'll
Mm.
go out there and do that to her. Some women too just don't put the stipulation on, are we dating or are we dating for marriage? Because when you come to the table and you show interest and you say, look, my overall goal is to be married within the next 3 years, roughly, if it works out. So I'm trying to date, not even date, I'm trying to court. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing. I'll say for me, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, are we okay? Are you up for marriage counseling? Are you up for individual counseling? Are you up for reading books with me that could help us be better parents in the future? Like those type of things, um, within a relationship, I could tell you, I'm staying. So when a man it hasn't gotten that clarification of, I am putting expectancy on marriage at the end of this relationship. If you don't give a man what you want or tell him what you want, but you're willing to take all his other stuff, he's gonna be less likely to commit to you marriage wise or even sexually.
I agree. Okay.
I appreciate you guys doing this podcast. Obviously, we will have future conversations if you guys are willing. So before we end, I want to, I really, really, again, appreciate you guys giving me this time. I want to ask you, what would you tell your younger self with the experience that you have now in life, love, and the world? If you could go back and give your younger self, your boyhood, one bit of advice, what would you tell them now based on the knowledge that you have now?
Shice, I'll let you take this one first, my man.
What would I tell my younger self based on the advice that I have now?
Based on the experience, the knowledge that you have now, if you could just give them one bit of advice to guide them, what would you, what would that advice be? What would you tell them?
Um, I would tell them just think for yourself. Make your own decisions. Don't let nobody really direct you into a decisions you want to make, because a lot of people direct people to make certain decisions that they will like to make. I would tell them to just seek God, put his heart more in God and trust in God. You know, because it says trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not to thy own understanding, and all thy ways and knowledge, and he should direct thy paths.
Mm.
So I feel like
Amen.
if you put it into God, I feel like whatever's supposed to happen, it'll happen. Even if you go through the same things over again, there was a reason why you went through it. So just put your trust in God and believe that God is going to continue to be your God and light and shepherd.
Mm.
Amen.
That's what I would do.
I
Amen.
appreciate you for that for a whole moment, bro. I really appreciate you dropping that scripture because a lot of
Me
people don't
too.
know that. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow. Mm.
I could say for me, it's a couple things. I'm gonna try to keep it to three.
Okay.
um, One, just to piggyback off of Shice, you're not your sins. I'm not my sins. I'm not the things that I did. Those are things that I did, one out of ignorance and two out of pain that was inflicted on me that I didn't even realize was coming from somebody else's pain. Um, the other thing is you're not what people said about you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You're not the useless actions or the actions that people didn't show towards you. You are worthy. You are important. You were created. God created you after his own image. You know, I would speak words of affirmation to myself. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are blessed when you come and when you go. Because those things, provided they would have really been embedded in me when I was younger, I could have made so many different decisions in my life. And granted, you don't always know that because, like Shai said, you might have to go through some things again because the lesson you need to learn is something you got to share with other people. But I understand too that with the validation and importance in the family, that really can spark who you become in your life. So I would say those things to myself. You're not what this world depicts you of. You're nothing to fear. You're actually something to be loved and to be cherished.
Wow. And you guys, if you're listening right now, if you stay with us the whole show, this is why I wanted these two souls on this podcast. Um, I think that there were messages that you guys that needed to be delivered, and I don't think I've encountered any better messengers. You guys allow me. Normally, I'm a little more rigid, but I knew that having you guys on this podcast, you would be able to, what do I always say, educate, learn, teach, and interject a little bit of humor, spirituality, and wisdom. And so I want you guys to, who are listening, mothers who are listening, I keep emphasizing mothers. We are their first teachers, their first loves. There's time to correct. There's time to correct um, a lot of the things that we do to our sons. You can learn. You can do better. Fathers can learn, and you can do better. And that's a discussion for another show. We touched on so many things tonight, but there are just highlights of further discussions we need to have within our community, with our men, on what they need, to feel supported and encouraged and loved. And so I want to say, on behalf of Black women who love Black men, and I'm not talking about just a romantic love. I keep emphasizing that this is love, just pure love. You are wanted. You are needed. You are our alpha and our omega, and we do support you. We support you, and we are some place that you are safe at. Now I get on another show about what we need, but you are appreciated. So I thank you guys for being on here. I appreciate it. I will drop all of the socials into the podcast description for everybody. Please follow them, subscribe to them. You will literally be entertained. You will learn something about fitness, healthcare, mental wellness, the music industry, everything. Shy, go ahead and drop your books. He's a published author. You can find his book. Go ahead and tell them the platforms that they can get your book. Everything. Go ahead and drop that.
So right now, like this was a great topic. It's a great promotion for my book, because my book is How to Keep a Black Man. How to Keep a Black Man is not to attack you, the women out there. It's going to tell you what type of woman you are. It's going to tell you more about what type of man that you like, because you have the thug guy, you got the professional guy, and it's also going to tell men about who they are. It's a learning book. It's going to really take you up through there. And it's not just, I know the title says How to Keep a Black Man, but it's for everybody. It don't matter if you white, Chinese, Black. It don't matter what you are. Any preference. You could be any preference. You could be with the LGBTQ. You could read with anybody you want to be with. This book is going to help you figure out a whole lot of things. It's going to get more in depth into something that we talked about. So that book can be found on Amazon. You can also get through me on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat is Shice Debiocci. That's Shice SHYS DEBIOCCI. That's Shice Debiocci. And my TikTok is big_Shice. You can always hit me there, and my email is shicemoney@gmail.com. You can always hit me there. Like I said, it's on Kindle and it's going to be on Amazon. I am an independent author. My music is on iTunes, Apple Music, iHeart, Tidal, whatever, Pandora, YouTube. You can get my music on the Shice Debiocci as well.
I appreciate it. And Terance, let us know where we can find your fitness content, your wellness content again, so that our listeners can make sure that they subscribe. These are two very intelligent young Black men, and they good looking too. Now y'all listen to the voice, but they fine. So, so I definitely want you guys to follow, subscribe, support. This is what we need. This is what we need. This is our future. This is our future, our hope. So go ahead and drop those deets one more time, and so that everybody can find you.
Absolutely. My IG is going to be blue, BLEU_VEE. As Mink said, I do have fitness content on there. I give motivational stuff as it comes to me. My TikTok is KYNG.TG on TikTok. And you can find me there doing the same thing. As I stated earlier, I'm in the process of getting a YouTube channel up, so I'll get that information to Minx as well, and hopefully she will bless me and allow me to still have that posted in the description box. I give a lot of ministry type tips. I'm going really more so into the spiritual portion with my YouTube channel, because there's a lot of things that we don't know. And if I learn it, I feel like God has told me it's my responsibility to share it, because you don't know who's walking that same thing with you. So those are the places you can find me.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you beyond measure for taking the time out of your night to be here with me and to share these things with me. Guys, this is not a, listen, as I tell you guys every night when I close out, there ain't no second takes here. This is real conversations, real dialogue, and we're allowing you into our trauma, our healing, our joy, our successes, our failures, our triumphs, and our spirituality. This is real. So thank you guys for listening and being a part of the Plus One podcast with Minxie. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Good night.